Hello, New York family. Looking forward to chatting with you for a little bit this month about all of the good things that have taken place and are coming up here in our fellowship. I want to talk to you this month about ministry to millennials. But before I do that, I want to talk to you about an upcoming change. Starting in the first of the year, you'll be seeing us move more completely to the reference, instead of New York District Assemblies of God, to the New York Ministry Network. Our legal name will remain New York District Assemblies of God, but it will be doing business as, or a DBA, New York Ministry Network. There's a reason for that. I believe that it more effectively represents the relational connection that we have in our district. We've been blessed with great leaders through the years, in Joe Flower, in Al Bartholomew, in Syed Adur, who were very relational and very well connected within our fellowship. I will tell you that other districts have operated perhaps more on an ecclesiastical and perhaps a little more rigid format than what we have in New York. And we believe that referencing ourselves as the New York Ministry Network will help to more effectively label us as to what we really are. We're networked together. We're family. You've heard my heart, my prayer, that we would be one family, not 350 isolated communities spread across the state, but one family serving the Lord together, trying to build the kingdom together, and serving each other. If one has a need, that we will come alongside and try to help as best we can, providing whatever counsel, support, and resource is necessary. So you'll be seeing a new logo. You'll see new colors that will be coming out for our departments. You'll see a new website that will roll out the first of the year. Our emails will be changing to nymn.org, but our NYDAG emails will continue to roll over for those who continue to use those, at least for the first 9 to 12 months or so. So our plan is that starting the first of the year, everything that you see will be labeled New York Ministry Network, and we believe that it will be an effective representation of who we are. Secondly, I want to thank you for your prayers as Henry, Dennis, and I from Bethlehem Assembly Valley Stream went to Monrovia, Liberia last week. We had an incredible time in working with our national church and the Liberian Assemblies of God to help lay the groundwork for the first ever counseling program in Liberia. Not just a Christian counseling program, there has been no counseling program of any kind. What they've gone through with the devastation of Ebola, the incredible suffering of civil war that destroyed every bit of infrastructure in the country, the poverty and devastation there is tremendous hurt and deep-seated hurt that Christian counseling is going to be able to give great assistance. We were able to meet with the Minister of State, who is the Chief of Staff for the President, the Minister of Religious Affairs, and were warmly received. They have had Assemblies of God relationships and are very, very supportive once official certification is given of cooperating and even partnering with our Bible college there in Monrovia. On Saturday, as I spoke at commencement service there, the Minister of Education, equivalent of our Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare, was present and assisted me in presenting some of the degrees to the graduates from the last 2 years who were able to be there. So it was an honor to see the church and the government working together and to see their incredible support. I also realized how important it is for those of you who are part of my Prayer Partners team, your prayer. I was as sick as I probably have ever been in my life, what they described as a violent reaction to malaria medication. In fact, some of the local folks said it would have been better had I gotten malaria instead of the reaction to the medication. I was never in my life more mindful of God's people praying and that support. So thank you so very much. Ministry to millennials, that generation that in society and in publications right now, they're saying you're leaving the church in multitudes. And in all of my research, I have found that though that is true across the board, it is less true in the Pentecostal church. That in our church, what is found is what exactly the new millennials are looking for. They're not interested in rules, they're interested in relationship. We know that rules without relationship breed rebellion. And so it's so vital that we have relationship with our younger generation. We who are getting a little bit older, hair's getting grayer or whiter, need to be able, as I shared at district council, to tell our stories. We can be seen in a lofty position in a place of authority, whether as a pastor or as a district leader, network leader, if you will. And no one knows how we paid our dues or what it was that we went through in getting where we are. The only way that's going to happen is if we tell our stories. Not in a lecture format, but over a cup of coffee or a latte at a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, to be able to just share what it is that God has done in our lives, the miracles that He's performed that have affirmed our call to ministry, that God is in fact working dynamically through some of the greatest challenges that we will ever face. And that is in those times that He affirms His call and He strengthens us for the road that is ahead. I'm grateful for the challenges that Bev and I have had. Times of frankly, deprivation. Times when we felt like politically we were on the wrong side and people were making judgments and decisions for us that hurt us. And at one point felt that we felt that the will of God had been thwarted, when in retrospect God used it to put us where we are today. So those stories are going to be important for the next generation. They're less concerned about where you are as to where you came from and what it is that God did in your life and what it is that God can do in your life. But it has to be more than just a one-way conversation. It has to be more than you telling. It has to be a follow-up to our younger generation and say, tell me your story. Tell me why it is that you're walking with the Lord the way you are. What are some of the things that God has spoken to your heart? What are some of the miracles that He's performed in your life so far? And opening that dialogue back and forth and sharing with one another the good things that God has done. It is out of that relationship that our younger generation is going to have a sense of belonging, a sense of value. I surround myself with young counselors, young advisors, those in their late 20s, early 30s, those who can speak some wisdom into me, not from the wisdom of years accumulated, but from the wisdom of what is happening in contemporary society today and what some of our young leaders are thinking. I'm not going to know what those things are unless I sit down and talk with them. I'm not going to understand the thought process, because what things were when I was their age were totally different from what they are now. And so I need to hear their heart. I need to listen to their counsel and their suggestion. I may not always do what they ask me to do, but at least I have a perspective that is going to help me make a wise decision that hopefully will not appear arrogant, will not appear to be dismissive, but will in fact include their considerations. We are in this together. We're part of a family. We're part of a team. And if we are going to be, in fact, the New York Ministry Network together, serving the Lord, then we've got to talk to each other. Cross-generational prayer, cross-generational conversations, and they have to be intentional. You've got to make the phone calls. You've got to be the Elijah who calls the Elisha and says, let's go have a cup of coffee together. You're going to need to be the one, senior leader, to say, I need some time with you. And for you, our young leaders, you need to be courageous enough to say, I need some time with you as a senior leader. You can make the excuse, well, I know they're too busy. I want you to know we are not too busy for you. You are our reason for being, and we are in this together. So I trust you had a wonderful Thanksgiving last weekend, great time with your family, with your friends. And I pray that as you're getting ready for Christmas and the few weeks ahead, that you will find God's blessing just rich and powerful in your life. I know this is a little longer video, but wanted to take some time to talk to you and just let you know how deeply I love you and appreciate you, and to thank you again for your prayers while we were in Liberia. God bless you.